friends, and welcome to today's video. My name's Michaela for those of you who are new, and I'm very excited for today. Basically, for the past 6 days I've read a book a day from different indigenous authors. The main reason I really wanted to do this is in my undergrad I've read a lot of indigenous poetry and I have taken several classes that study that, but I wanted to kind of expand my realm when it came to indigenous authors and expand genres. So I have picked up some nonfiction, some memoir, some YA, and some just adult fiction from a bunch of different indigenous authors that some I read before and some I haven't, to let you guys know what I think. And sneak peek, I did not rate a single one below 3 stars. Most of them were 4 or 5. They were all amazing, so I'm very excited to share all the details with you. But before I send you guys off to day 1, I want to have a real quick conversation about something that's currently happening in the US. For those of you who don't know, the Indian Child Welfare Act is currently being sent to the Supreme Court, and a lot of people are nervous that it's going to be overturned. For those of you who don't know, this act protects a lot of Native rights here in the US, and it's also helped protect a lot of Native children from being taken away from their families. So it's a little scary to see it headed to the Supreme Court currently, and a lot of people are, again, very fearful that it's going to be overturned. And that it's going to set a precedent for taking away Native rights and lands. So if you guys would love to help, I have some petition links and donation links down below in the description. And if you'd like to learn more, I also have several article links for you to do your own research. But it would mean a lot for me for you guys to check that out, so thank you so much. Either way, I'm very excited to talk to you guys about this first book, so I'm going to send you back to Chicago when I started this challenge. Good morning, guys. I look like an absolute disaster. I did not sleep very well last night, and I have chronic back pain. It's just been a bad day. Just in pain, kind of feeling sick, and it's just not great. But today I'm going to be reading A Mind Spread Out on the Ground. This is a memoir of sorts of Alyssa Elliott. And I've heard great things, so I'm excited to kind of get started. And it's a shorter book, so I can just kind of take it easy today. It's kind of been just an off day, so yeah. So I moved to my bedroom so I could just lay down and chill. Hopefully tomorrow is a lot better with pain and just feeling better in general. But I did just finish A Mind Spread Out on the Ground. This was phenomenal. I absolutely loved every single essay that she wrote. It was super well written, imaginative. The way that she writes is just absolutely incredible, and the messages that she kind of addresses in each essay are backed up with different papers and analogies and all these different things that tie together so well with the personal analogies that she's using within those essays. Every single essay is absolutely phenomenal. I highly recommend. I'm giving this definitely a 5 out of 5 stars. It was great. So, but I am going to spend the rest of the evening just chilling and resting and hoping that tomorrow is just a little bit better. So, yeah. I had to return the book I read yesterday, so before we leave. Crazy. All right, so this is gonna be home sweet home for the next couple of days. We are in Philadelphia visiting family for a little bit, which is amazing. It's gonna be really, really fun to see my nieces and my nephew. It's just gonna be a fun time overall. But I did end up getting pretty far in Braiding Sweetgrass today. I think, unfortunately, just because it's an audiobook, I can't like sit down and I've been speed reading as fast as I can with an audiobook. So that one is gonna be kind of a book that I'm reading throughout the week rather than just today. But so far it's been absolutely phenomenal. Probably one of the best books I've read in a really, really long time. I can tell that it's already a 5-star read, and the audiobook is absolutely fantastic. The author narrates it herself, and she has the most calming voice I've ever heard in my life. It's amazing, so highly recommend. But so far it's a 5 out of 5 stars for me. I will let you know by the end of the week what I think, but all in all, today was a great reading day. I absolutely loved it, and now it's time to just chill out after traveling. So yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Alright, so today I am reading There by Tommy Orange, and I've started reading it and I'm having a hard time connecting with the story being told, and I think it's just I haven't gotten far enough into it yet. I actually originally thought that this book was nonfiction because I understood it as a series of essays about Native Americans in Oakland, California. But it actually is a novel that has 12 characters that again is kind of doing a similar thing. It's telling a wide range of stories of different experiences that indigenous people have, and they're all based in Oakland, California, and they all have a wide range of different experiences. It's very fascinating, but for whatever reason I can't really connect to the characters that well, and again I just think maybe I just haven't got far enough into the book. But because I'm switching up characters so often, each chapter is its own character, because of that constant switch, I'm not connecting with the story either. There's nothing pushing me forward in the story. I'm having to be okay, we gotta keep reading, which is a little frustrating. I don't know, that might just be a me thing, but hopefully as I get into it more, I'll be more drawn to the story, because right now I'm I don't really know if I'm super invested in any of these characters and any of their lives, which is unfortunate because I want to be. So I'm kind of, this is a mixed bag for me so far, but hopefully it draws me in a little bit more as I read. I don't know. Either way, it's a pretty short book, so hopefully I'll be able to get it done today, and move on to something that I might find more interesting, but we'll see. I'm hoping for the best, so yeah. Alright, so I just finished, and I think this book is an excellent example of why I follow the 90-page rule. Basically what that is if you're not liking a book, or if the book's pacing hasn't picked up, or the inciting incident hasn't happened by page 90, I'm allowed to put the book down and just not finish it, because by page 90 the author should kind of get to the point of what they're talking about, or get some of the story to really start going. And with books like this, I'm really, really glad I continued reading, because this was phenomenal. The ending was just super intense and just terrifying. You really, really got connected to the characters as their story started interconnecting with each other. Super, super cool how that kind of all worked out. I just absolutely loved it. I thought it was incredible. I gave it a 4-star review. Yeah, this is amazing. I am so glad that I kept reading. I feel bad. I was so nervous about it before, but It's amazing. So yeah. Good morning. Today I'm going to be reading The Sentence by Louise Erdrich. I can never pronounce her last name correctly, but I've read several of her books before and I've loved all of them, so I'm really excited to read this one. It's like a haunting, kind of like a spooky ghost story, I believe, so I'm excited to kind of move more into the realm of like fiction novels rather than nonfiction or essay type novels. So yeah, I'm super excited to start reading this today. Alright, so I just finished The Sentence, and again, I will read anything by this author. She's incredible. She's just an incredible writer, and I love everything that she's ever written. And this is no different. This is her newest novel, I believe, and it, again, like I mentioned earlier, it's kind of like a haunting of a bookstore, but the reality is it's more about themes of what death means, grief, how to deal with losing someone, or how to deal with your own grief and just fears along those lines. It was super fascinating. It also captures the early days of COVID and 2020 perfectly. The confusion, the uncertainty, the fear, the worry, all of those different things. It's captured so well in here, and it reminded me that I really want to read Sally Rooney's new book, because I think it's Conversations with Friends. I'm not entirely positive that if that's the title, but again, it kind of covers a similar time period and is capturing that, just again, the fear and uncertainty that everyone had at the beginning of COVID. And she does an incredible job with it. It's amazing. It did catch me a little off guard. I don't think I was quite prepared to relive those thoughts and my own memories during that time. But again, I think it's just gonna be one of those books that is gonna be remembered because it covers that time so perfectly, so well. But yeah, I highly recommend. I gave this 4 stars out of 5. There was just a few parts of the novel that kind of lulled for me, like didn't quite make sense. I don't know why they were completely written to be there, and maybe that's just me, but otherwise it was absolutely fantastic. I loved it. It did take me a while to read, but that's okay. I'm here with family, so things are gonna take a little bit longer, which is totally fine. I've absolutely loved staying here in Philadelphia, just hanging out with family and seeing my nephew and my 2 nieces interact with each other is the absolute cutest thing. But yeah, highly recommend, and I will see you guys tomorrow for the next book. Good morning. So today I'm going to be reading probably Ruby, and this book is about a 30-year-old indigenous woman who was adopted by a white family, and I believe spends the rest of the book trying to reconnect or at least find her indigenous heritage. I'm really excited about it. I've heard great things. Also, it's one of the shortest books that I have this week, which is great. So hopefully it won't take me the whole day like some of these other books have. But yeah, I will let you guys know what I think by the end. So yeah. Alright, so I just finished probably Ruby, and unfortunately it was my least favorite of the bunch. That's not to say it wasn't a good book. I still rated it 3 out of 4 or out of 5 stars, but it just fell a little short for me. I think the main issue that I had is the story is written in a format where it's a bunch of short stories that kind of have an interconnected plot, which I love. I absolutely love when stories do that. The House on Mango Street is like an excellent example of like what that type of novel usually looks like. Usually those types of stories aren't in chronological order, which is the same with this. Unfortunately, I think because of that, this book fell short. I think there was like an emotional payoff that she was trying to reach towards the end that didn't quite work for me because of earlier stories in the book, which was just unfortunate. It just kind of threw me off at times, but I really loved that the book was written using interconnected relationships. Basically, you hear from multiple POVs that all connect back to the main character, Ruby, and it kind of tells her story, her heritage, why she is who she is currently, by telling the stories of her adopted parents, her birth mother, her birth father, and lots of lovers, interconnected relationships, all those different things, and it was fascinating. I absolutely loved that. I thought it was a very unique way to tell a story, but again, just some of the emotional payoffs just didn't quite work for me, but that could also just be a me thing. I still highly recommend picking this up. It's a really good book, and it's a lot shorter than some of these other books are, so if you're not a big book person, this might be the one for you. But yeah, it just fell a little short for me, unfortunately, but that's okay. Not everything's gonna work out. Either way, I'm very excited for tomorrow's book, and tomorrow is gonna be the last day, which is really exciting. So yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Alright, so it is the last day, and today I'm going to be reading a YA novel called The Firekeepers Daughter. So this is actually Angelina Boulley's first novel. It's her debut novel, and I've heard absolutely incredible things about it. It's also the biggest book that I've gotten. It's around 500 pages, so hopefully I can finish this by today, but if not, that's okay. I'll get at least pretty close, but again, I've heard absolutely fantastic things, and I'm really excited to dive in. So this is the first YA book I've read in a really long time, and I feel so old reading it. I'm like 22, and for some reason having the main protagonist be an 18-year-old that's helping a large investigation just seems a little silly to me, and I think that's just because like when I was 18, I was like partying with friends in college. I'm having a hard time kind of jumping into it because there's some things that I'm having a hard time believing. And the book is also set in 2004, and so some of the text language that's being used is really throwing me off. It's like very early, like stereotypical teen texting, and I was like, what? No one texts like this. But also maybe in 2004 they did. I have no idea. I was 4 years old. I'm just having a little bit of a difficult time kind of jumping into it, but I think that's gonna subside since the plot has started to get really interesting and really crazy. But yeah, I just have to laugh at myself because I just have had such a difficult time realizing that I'm not the protagonist of a young adult novel anymore, which is very sad, but that's okay. Alright, so I just finished this. I'm very proud of myself. But I was just cruising through it, especially when I got up to the halfway mark. Things got wild in the plot. Either way, I would give this a very high 4 out of 5 stars. It might even be like it's almost at 5 stars. It's almost there. The only reason I'm not giving it 5 stars is, again, there were some things that just kind of threw me off, and it might just be me, but some of the texting, some of the language that was being used just didn't seem very believable, and again, it could just be me, but that just threw me off just a bit. But I absolutely adored this novel. It was incredible. I loved the twist at the end that I really wasn't expecting, which is rare for me. I usually find that out pretty soon in the book, so it really shocked me when it happened. And also the love story was actually believable. There's sometimes I feel like in some YA books and some like contemporary books that are kind of on the edge, the love stories just aren't believable at all, but it's great. I absolutely love it. I think it makes sense, and the ending was amazing. It was fantastic. I already want to reread it to see if I can pick up some foreshadowing that led to the twist ending, but absolutely incredible. Definitely give it a read. It's super fun. It deals with some serious topics, but it does it in a way that just makes sense, and yeah, it's great. Highly recommend reading it. If you struggle with YA like I do, I think this is the one for you. Like now I want to read Percy Jackson again. Now I want to get back into that world again that I haven't touched for a while. So I'm very excited. Either way, the book was amazing. I absolutely loved it. I highly recommend checking it out. Yeah. Great read. Honestly, it's so close to 5 out of 5 stars. It just had a few things that threw me off, but that's okay. Alright, so that is the end of my 6-day challenge. Unfortunately, I was not able to finish Braiding Sweetgrass in that time. Audiobooks just take me a lot longer because I have to focus a little bit more, but I absolutely love the Braiding Sweetgrass audiobook. I can already tell it's going to be a 5-star read for me, so I still highly recommend checking it out. It's incredible. The author herself narrates it. It's just amazing. Either way, all the rest of the books were absolutely incredible, very well written. I just had an absolute blast reading them, and surprisingly, I'm not burnt out on reading. I'm very bummed that I didn't bring another book with me, but that's alright. I'll just keep listening to my audiobook during this week. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm very excited for December because I have some really big plans. So if you want to see that, I'd love it for you guys to subscribe. If you guys want to see more of my day-to-day life or what I'm currently reading, I have my Goodreads and my Instagram accounts linked below in the description. I love seeing you guys on here, and I've met so many of you online, and it's been just really fun to build a little community of readers. But either way, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. If you're enjoying the holidays, I hope you have a wonderful time with your families, and I will see you later. Bye!